Hello, my name is Frank Williams, an interim Vice President for Enrollment Management, and thank you for coming and attending our online open house for spring 2017. We're very excited that you're here. We want you to make sure that you ask all your questions while our counselors are online waiting for you, and make sure also that you have a better understanding of Daemen College once you leave. What we want to do today is just really make sure we answer your questions. I'm going to be here to talk to you and be live because it's really important that you know that Daemen cares, and we're taking the time out to make sure you have an informed decision on what you want to do for the next 4, 5, or 6 years, depending on the program you select. And with that, making sure that you also can understand the outcomes that comes out of that experience you have it here at Daemen College. But first, I just wanted to talk about why Daemen College. You know, you have thousands of schools you can choose from. In your home state, as I see California is logged on, we have a graduate student, we're talking with people from Texas and a lot of people from our Western New York area, but you can go to thousands of colleges in and out of state. Why Daemen College? Let me tell you. We would like for you to come to Daemen College or take a serious look at us because one, we have great faculty here. Our faculty are second to none. And we are a small, private, liberal arts-based school, but we have a lot of programs in the health sciences. What does that mean for you? That means if you're looking for the health science programs, we have them. Programs such as physician assistant, athletic training. We have a natural science program that leads into our pre-dent, leads into pre-farm, leads into pre-med. And we also have guaranteed seats in our pre-vet program waiting for you. We can get into all those things later on, but if you have specific questions that you want to ask of my counselors or of me, make sure you ask those questions as I'm here online, live talking with you. So again, we spoke about the faculty members. The faculty members here are many of them are tenure track faculty members. So you won't be taught by a lot of the teaching assistants and or other master's or graduate level faculty that you may see at other colleges, sometimes big and small. We just have made the commitment to you as students coming to Daemen College that we will have faculty members that have terminal degrees in their field educating you on your future. So the faculty are second to none. They also are very personable. We have many faculty members that reach out to students, reach out to their parents, do phone calls, but even during the academic year, making sure that you're getting all the information you need. If you have a situation where maybe you can't come to class, reach out to a faculty member, they'll make sure you have different assignments. They make sure that you're in the seats of the class. If you're not there, we're assisting you with that. Faculty members that also make sure that you're prepared for research. Well, you may not do research your first year, but your sophomore year, junior year, senior year, plenty of opportunities to do research. Research right here on campus with your faculty member, sometimes going out to Lake Erie to do expeditions in regards to the water and doing the research on what we may find in our water. Sometimes it's also doing things in the eco trails, really making sure that if you're looking at environmental science that you're having the experiences doing those things. We've also had students that have had opportunity of doing research with faculty members, so much so that they can publish. So we have some students that before they graduate have had research published. That's right, very important, but it's also a very important skill to have as you're looking for graduate school in your graduate education. So faculty members are doing that. We have faculty members that help students in regards to research projects for their thesis. I've been here 11 years, and when I come to our campus and look at the research that are done by our students, I definitely have to step back and say, wow. Many times I have to really look at their work and just to realize that this is the work they're doing as undergraduate students, really prepared going into your graduate phase. So when I think of why Daemen, excellent faculty members that have a desire to help you to succeed. I always say that we have challenging academics. What I mean when we say challenging academics is not that they're going to push you to the break and make sure that you're upset and crying. No, 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 not at all. I say they're going to challenge you to make sure that you're ready for the next step in your academic career and your professional career. They're going to challenge you in regards to your writing skills. It's very important if you're coming out as an English major or you're coming out as a biology major that you understand how to write and you write well. So they're going to challenge you in those things. They're going to challenge you with your research. They're going to challenge you with making sure that you can be successful here on the campus and again as you're going into your career. So challenging academics is very important. I think it's very important also to have an experience outside of the classroom, even sometimes off campus. So internships and clinicals. If you're looking at a business program, before you leave here, many of our students will have 2 or 3 internships. It's not a requirement or it's not guaranteed, but it's it's something that we provide or we assist you with obtaining. So coming out and having internships for, if you're a business major, if you're an education major, of course you're going into the classroom, having real teaching experiences, writing your lesson plans, again, making sure you're prepared so that first day you're not learning on the job, but you're going on the job with the skills and the assets that you have obtained while you're here. The clinical experiences are really important as well. And some schools will say, well, you have to go and find your own clinical experience. You have to go to different hospitals, doctors' offices, and try to do those things yourselves. Many of our programs have hired an additional staff member to do just that for you. They're going out to make sure that as you're enrolled in our programs, that those clinical experiences are there for you, so that when you get to that point in your academic career, we can provide options. You can do those things right here in our own backyard. If you're an out-of-state student, yes, you can go back home and do a lot of those clinical experiences. There's not a guarantee that we will be able to do it where you want it at, but that's a process that you will go through with your academic advisor and your department. I do know of students that have done things out of state. Particularly, I have one student who went to South Carolina. He wanted to go to South Carolina because his grandmother was in South Carolina. What he did was did his clinicals in South Carolina, and he lived with his grandmother, so he kind of saved some money in regards to housing. And the good thing about him going to South Carolina, one, he had an out-of-state experience, he had a great clinical experience, and that was one of the options he had as far as employment. They offered him a job after his clinical experiences before he even graduated from Daemen College. And that's only one of the success stories. And this student also had multiple job offers, and he did select the internship or the clinical experience he had in South Carolina that he took. So the clinical experiences, internships are really, really important. I always give the example for students when they say, well, why is that important for me to do an internship, or what is the value of an internship? And the example that I always give is, if you take myself, you, and maybe 2 or 3 other friends, we're all business majors and we're all graduating. Let's say we graduate with a 3.9 because we're pretty smart. So we all have 3.9 GPAs, and 3 of us have gone on and studied really hard, haven't done any internships, but we've done a really good job academically. And let's say that one of our friends has gone on and they had an internship. Maybe it's at one of the top 5 companies or larger companies. Say it's a Walmart, and they did some things with retail, and maybe some things with management. Maybe they did some evaluation. Maybe they did some buying as being a buyer for one of their stores. Now they've had an opportunity to do some of the work as a manager. They've created some great relationships. They have an additional outside person outside of the institution to write them a strong letter of recommendation. Many times, and we're all at the same point in life and we're going for that job, the person that's had those internships and have those connections is usually the person that's going to be able to speak a lot more to their skill set, and the person that they've worked with can speak to their skill set. So it's really important to have those outside experiences, internships, some schools call them co-ops, clinical experiences are going to be very important no matter which career path you choose. So it's not just for the clinical experiences for PT and PA majors, but if you're an English major, depending on what you want to do with your major, maybe you want to do some writing, being able to work in an environment where you're around other writers. Maybe it's something you want to do with a TA experience of being a teaching assistant at a community college. Getting involved in those things that will capture your interest, but also getting involved in those things that will help your skill set. Daemen is definitely willing and able, and we do partner with you to make those things happen. Other thing is the personal attention you receive as a Daemen student. I don't want to sound cliche, but we're a small private, and we do take a lot of interest in our students that come. You're not coming here as a number. If you enroll at Daemen College, you're not just another student filling a seat. We look at you as a student that we have to, again, partner with and give you the attention that you need to be successful. What does that mean? On a day-to-day basis, faculty members have office hours. So that would definitely give you attention to make sure that all your needs are being met. If you're in a class that you're needing more assistance with, we have an academic advising area that can help you out with your class schedule, but we also have a coaching staff that will help you with your being tutored in an area. So we call it coaching. So you're not just being tutored, but you're being coached on how to do better. So not just helping you out with that one test, but teaching you how to do the concepts, if it's writing, or teaching you the concepts of the English or math, excuse me, to make sure that you can then help yourself. So as I always say, help me to help you. So they help you to do a better job next time around. Not saying that you don't want you to come back, but we want to make sure that you're prepared that the next time around you're able to do the things you need to do to be successful. So that personal attention is there for you. And that's no additional cost. Those students that are doing well in those areas of interest, they have been hired by the school, they're paid by the school, and they're an asset for you in that department. So you definitely will get that attention. In regards to living on campus, students have a wonderful experience living on campus at Daemen College. There's never a dull moment, from programs that the RAs are planning, from events that student affairs are doing. We really try to make sure that on the weekends, we're not one of those places that students will say, oh, it was the weekend, there's nothing to do, I'm bored, I want to go home. We want to make sure that you feel like this is a place you can come, and on weekends there's things to do. In the residence halls there's things to do, and also within student affairs and student activities there's always things to do. Not leaving out our commuters. Commuters are also a part of the Daemen family, and how does a commuter have a great experience? One of the things I tell all commuters at open house when they come to visit, not to feel bad because you're a commuter. Sometimes commuters feel like, oh wow, I won't get the same experiences because I have to commute, or I have to work, or I have to stay at home. That's false. A commuter can have a wonderful college experience. At Daemen, we always tell the students to make sure that you get involved. Get involved academically with a club or organization. If it's not an academic club or organization, maybe it's more of a social club. If you like to sing, we have maybe the gospel choir. If you like to do, if you like to dance, there's also a step team, and there's a dance team as well. We have cheerleaders. So find some way that you can find yourself connected to the campus so that you're not taking classes and immediately leaving off campus to go home, or immediately leaving off campus to go to work. We want to make sure that you're a part of the campus community. There's many students that sometimes, because of their situation, they have to work more than 10, 20 hours a week, and they have to leave off campus. But I say to many students, and I'm saying to you all as well, in order to have a really good experience on a campus, you have to spend some time to get to know the people, get to know the curriculum, get to know what's going on, and it definitely would change your outlook on your Daemen College experience. So when we think about why Daemen, talked about our faculty, our academics, the personal attention, the clinicals and internships, and also I want to mention scholarships. Usually one of the biggest questions on a lot of families' minds. Daemen College is a small private, but we also try to make sure that we extend ourselves and try to be as affordable as possible to many of the families that are looking at Daemen College. So again, what does that mean? I don't want to throw out a cliche word, but what I want to say when we bring affordable, we will sit down with you and go over your financial aid package. The financial aid office will sit down with you as well, but we want to make sure that we do everything we can do to extend a financial offer or a financial aid offer to families that is feasible. And in many cases, I'm talking with families and talking about the benefits of coming to Daemen College, and it definitely comes up. But what about your financial aid package? How is that done? If you're a senior right now, the senior should have already been applied, accepted, and should have your financial aid package. If you're a senior and you're looking at this video and you're chatting with our counselors and you haven't yet applied, the good news is there's still time. We have a rolling admissions process, so we still will be accepting applications. While some areas are closed in regards to enrollment, the majority of the programs we have are still wide open, and we have time to speak with you, get you a decision out, and enroll you in Daemen College for fall. If you are a junior on here, you have plenty of time, but now is the right time to do the things that you are doing. So now will be the great time to look at the programs, ask all your questions. If you haven't visited, the number one thing to do is come visit. Come visit our campus, take a tour of our campus, sit down with faculty, sit down with the admissions counselor. If you have a desire to sit into a classroom, we can do that. Time is ticking now, so we may not be able to do that as our students are wrapping up their academic year, going into study week and exam time, but we will definitely be doing that as the fall begins. So come on campus, we can sit you in a classroom, have you have a Daemen College feel, and if you have some time, we are open all summer. We'll be doing tours all summer long as well. Come on campus, let's have coffee, have lunch, and just get a chance to kick our tires and see if Daemen's a good fit for you. I would say that it surely will be, because we're a school that is really open to all students and all disciplines. As long as we have your program, we'll try to make sure it works out for you. So getting back to the financial aid issue, with financial aid, we also want students to make sure you do your FAFSA, and putting Daemen's code on your FAFSA. That's really important as well. So if you are a senior and you're saying, well, I have not yet received my financial aid report, we want to make sure that you have Damon on your FAFSA. If Damon's on your FAFSA, you should already have your report. If we are on your FAFSA and you're saying you don't have your report, please give us a call as soon as possible. We can get that fixed and get you a financial aid offer out to you. We would love to see you on campus. Campus is the flowers are blooming, the trees are blooming, so it's a great time to come on campus and get a chance to take a tour and talk with myself or the admissions counselors. If you have a desire to talk to a faculty member, we were at a really exciting meeting today where we had almost every department represented saying that what else can we do to assist the students, what else can we do to assist in enrollment. So our faculty are also eagerly waiting to speak with you, to talk to you about their programs, talk to you about your experiences they can assist you with, and also just making sure that you have a comfortable feeling about coming to Damen College. So now we talked about our faculty members, we talked about what the clinicals are there and internships. What about our athletes? If you're an athlete and you're looking at Damen College, what's your next step? The good news is Damen College is now Division II NCAA, and that's been the case for going on two years now. It's a great athletic program. They have great coaches, a great AD, great grad assistants over there helping out. So the department over there is doing wonderful things. The teams are doing really well. The students are doing really well. And there's a lot of support set up there. So what's the next step? If you're a senior, you're looking at Damen College, you're an athlete, and maybe the coach is already speaking with you, let's definitely get you on campus and get the process wrapped up. If you're a junior and you haven't yet started that process, if you go on our athletic website, there is a form you need to fill out. Being NCAA, there is some process. So go on the athletic website, you'll see the form as an interested student that wants to be an athlete. Fill out that form. They can also get in touch with you that way. It's a great process, a great school to attend. We have great athletics, and the facilities are growing. We're doing more and more for those services. But one of the most important things I would like to say from my point of view as an educator that I like to speak about for our athletics and our athletic division is the support systems that they have for students. Many times it's about getting on the team, getting the scholarship, getting a full scholarship. But the most important thing in my book is the academic services. Because again, Damen College is not interested in just enrolling you. We're interested in enrolling you, educating you, and making sure that you graduate. Graduation is the goal, not just getting here. Getting here and getting out of here is the goal for graduation. So again, with athletics, they will make sure that you have the study skills that you need to have in order to be a successful student. Your first job here is as a student, not to be on the basketball team, not to be the best, jump shot or in volleyball, the best kicker in soccer, but to be the best student you can be. But at the end of the day, we want you to make sure you're prepared to go out to your chosen career field. So athletics will have great supports there. They also have sometimes mandatory study time for our athletes, and making sure that they keep their tradition of having really strong academic students. They have held records within NCAA regarding the GPA of athletic sports teams. And we want to keep that going. So we would definitely want students that are confident, qualified, and ready for the next step in academics as well as athletics. So while you're on the site, please ask your questions. Make sure that before you leave here, you have a better understanding of what Damen has to offer and a better understanding of what Damen can do to assist you as well. And while you're here, I hope you've already done the form to get your information to Damen College. So make sure you fill out the form, and so we can have a gift for you at the end of this session as well. We want to get your information, so we want to keep in contact with you. One of the second things I spoke about was the attention you'll get from the personal attention you'll get from the people on our campus, first starting with our admissions office. So as we get your information, we'll definitely want to keep you in touch of what's going on. If it's open houses, if there's we have a pizza with a professor day where you come on campus, meet with faculty, and have lunch with them as well. We have days where scholarship days where you come in and for a scholarship event, and that's called Scholars Day. Actually, we have it for our first year students entering as freshmen, and we also have it for our transfer students. That Scholars Day is a really big event, which will happen in the first Saturday in February, which next year it'll be February 3rd. On campus right here. You have to be invited to that. So for many of our talented students, we'll be on campus for Scholars Day. And we also have one in the spring for our transfer students. Our transfer students are on here. And I mentioned before we had some graduate students that are on here. The graduate students, I really want you to look at the websites for the academic programs you're looking at. There's scholarships there or tuition discounts that are there for those programs as well. Again, we want to work with you to make sure that your academics are first, but we also want to make it feasible for you financially. So again, keep on asking your questions, and we'll be back with you soon.
And
hello. I hope you're still with us. I hope we have some new students here as well. But I have a special guest with me this evening, and we have Kim, who's a current student here at Daemen College. And you probably heard enough from me in the last segment, so I want to make sure that we mix it up and make sure some of your questions again are being answered. So Kim, now that we have you with us, and thanks for being here with us, why don't you to maybe introduce yourself to everyone and tell them what your major is and where you're from.
Hi everybody, my name is Kimberly. I am a biochemistry major with minors in business and professional medical writing, and I am from Gage Chile in Rochester, New York.
All right. So of course, the big question is, why Daemen? So Kim, can you tell them why you selected Daemen of all the colleges that you've applied to and you, I'm sure, were accepted at because you're a very bright student, and why you selected Daemen College?
I chose Daemen because I actually came to Daemen to sit in on a class,
okay.
And I fell in love with the professor. It was outside of my major that I ended up choosing, but okay. I still got a really great feel for the classroom environment and how everybody interacted with each other, and I just felt like it was home. That was home.
Great, good. And so we talked in the last segment about students being residential students and also commuters. Mm-hmm. And you have the opportunity to have been both.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your residential experience when you lived on campus? Maybe why your decision to live on campus. Well, it was kind of a long commute to Rochester. Mm-hmm. So, but maybe your experiences you had in the residence halls, friendships, things you guys did. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that.
Definitely. So my freshman year and my sophomore year, I lived on campus. I lived in the freshman Canevin Hall, and I also lived in the apartments on campus. I loved both. In Canevin, I loved being able to walk down the hall and see all of my friends right there. Everything is super close, so it was easy to wake up late for class and all of that. But I really loved it. I made a lot of commuter friends who actually stayed with me, so we kind of got the best of both worlds going all the way around.
Gotcha. So you had a great time living on campus. What was the most memorable program or time living on campus?
Just like the regular everyday experiences, being with my friends and being so close to the academic experiences and the professors and everybody that's on campus.
When I was on campus many years ago, I was also an RA, and we always had the programs that were done on campus for the residents. Do you have any RA-driven programs that you remember that really stood out to you?
Definitely. Especially my freshman year, we did pumpkin carving contests. We went out apple picking. I know the guys' floor my freshman year went out for like an extreme sports day.
Oh boy.
So they always have fun stuff packed in.
Good, good. And so you made the decision to move off campus. Mm-hmm. So why was the decision to move off campus, and how are you staying connected as a commuter?
Yeah, so I chose to live off campus because I had other friends around the area who didn't go to Daemen that I wanted to live with. So we decided to go in on an apartment, and honestly I felt just as at home as I was when I was living here. It was really easy to stay involved and still stay in contact with all the people that I had talked to on campus.
Great, great. Well, when I talk about my undergrad experience, I always talk about my one regret. I was on campus, I did all type of things, I worked in different places, loved my academic experience, but my one regret was not taking advantage of being, going on a study abroad experience. And my understanding is that you had the opportunity to take two.
I did, yes.
I'm a little jealous, just a little bit. But tell me about your study abroad experiences, and where'd you go and why?
Sure. So the first one that I went on was to Italy. It was a 3-week program. I took a painting class, which is outside of my major, biochem. But it was right after finals in May, so I went for 3 weeks. I went by myself. I met with other American students when I was in Italy, but the whole experience was traveling on my own, which was super nerve-wracking because I'd never done it before, but it was a great experience. It helped me learn a lot of independence. I definitely loved it. and then I just had to get more. So I went on a service learning trip through Damon to the Dominican Republic, which was actually this last winter. So that was a great experience. We did education pieces for some of the youth in the area, and we helped build some latrines. So it was a great experience.
Wow. On either their experience, were there faculty that have also gone along? What departments were those faculty from, and how was the interaction with the faculty members?
So actually Dr. Tataska did the Dominican Republic service learning trip with us, and we had a class in the fall and in the spring before and after we went, and we were there for 2 weeks. She came with us. It was a great experience. She definitely helped us ease everything, and it was a lot of students' first time traveling abroad, so she did a great job.
Wow. So that's great. I mean, so those experiences are there waiting for everyone. And I know when you talk about study abroad, most things people say is that, oh, I can never afford to do that. So without going into too many details, was that made affordable for you? Did you guys do any fundraising? Was it with yourself or other students you spoke to, was it also an affordable trip that it was made feasible to do?
Definitely, definitely. The Dominican Republic was a little bit cheaper than Italy just because of where it is, but we did a ton of fundraising. We did like meal nights where if you brought a flyer, we got so much towards our trip. We sold like Delta Sonic tickets, all of that good stuff. So that definitely helped out a lot. Good,
good. So that was one of my things that I regret doing. I'm feeling like I really should have done it even more now, sitting here speaking with you. But I think that's something to let everyone know, that as you're looking at Damon College, you know, there's experiences that we have on and off campus, but also making sure that you take advantage of those things that you can. The other thing I spoke about in the last segment, I did speak about research, and what wowed me during our academic festival, when we have all our student research that's from every major: English, social work, psychology, biology, PTs, PA, everyone has done research projects. And so I'm glad you're here also, because as I said these things in the last segment, we can now look and say, well, give me an example of that. And I understand that you've also done research. So tell our audience, what type of research have you done, and maybe how your interaction was with faculty doing that research?
Sure, yeah, definitely. So as a natural science major, we're required to do research to graduate. So I actually just presented at Academic Fest, and we're finishing up our thesis now. I'm actually working with butterflies with Dr. Ramos. We're looking at their developmental patterns and how toxins actually can change their wing colors and their growth rates.
So what toxins? Well, what toxins change their wings color and growth rates? So.
It's actually a toxin that they need in their diet to survive. So it actually makes them toxic so that predators don't eat them. So
if they do eat them, they die, I guess. Well, thanks. That's wonderful. And that's the idea of everything being able to research and go deeper, as opposed to just saying, oh, they're butterflies, they all look great, we don't know anything about them. So now you know a little bit more, because Kimberly told you that they need toxins in their body to protect them from predators. While you're here, what's your next step? You're at Damon College, you've done 2 study abroad, you've done research. While here on campus, what's your next, I guess, milestone? What are you looking to do next while you're here?
Well, I'm graduating in a few weeks.
Congratulations.
So after that, I would like to go to a dual program that combines law and science, and I want to work in like medical patenting and things like that. Great.
So the experiences you've had here at Damon College, working with faculty and the research, are you feeling confident now that you're prepared for that next step?
Definitely, yeah. I feel so confident going forth with anything that I could do. And they've been a great help and really supportive in helping me figure out what I want to do and helping me explore all the options that I have. Great.
I just want to go backwards a little bit. We talked about the faculty interaction. Outside of class experiences, a lot of times we talk about office hours and faculty being available to students. How has that been your experience having access to faculty outside of the classroom?
Oh, it's super easy. My professors are great. I sit with them for hours at a time sometimes. Even if they don't have set office hours, if I walk by and I say, oh, hey, like, how's it going? And they're like, hey, come on in. And they chat with me and we go over tests, or I can ask questions about anything. I have one professor that he teaches me physiology, and I've talked to him about everything from physiology to jobs to life to studying abroad to everything. Wow. So.
College experience for a lot of the students that are chatting with us now. Many of them are juniors, some seniors. We noticed we had some out-of-state students. We also have some transfer and graduates. but mainly speaking to our juniors and seniors that will be entering into college for the first time. They may be nervous and not understanding how it's going to change their life. I'm looking to speak about the balance. As you've been on campus now and you're about to graduate, over the years, how have you balanced your academic work, social life, working, and how has that balance worked out for you? How have you been able to balance it?
The first semester is definitely a little bit of trial and error and figuring out how everything goes. Talking to friends, it definitely depends on you as a student, but it falls into line pretty quick. You figure out what you like, what you don't like, how to organize, what works for you, and there's tons of people on campus to help you out with that, between the people I work with to the professors I have to my friends, just sharing information and helping me stay on top of things. It really was an easy transition.
Great, great. The other thing I would ask of you to let our audience know is you worked in admissions now for a while. How has the experiences working in different offices, working with the professionals on office and also with the students, how has that helped you either mature or helped you in your growth at college?
Definitely. I can just say that I've gotten so many different opportunities here at Daemen, between working in the admissions office to working in some of the science labs, to doing my research, to study abroad, to clubs and all of that. Just being exposed to so many different experiences and being able to talk to so many people with different outlooks on everything has definitely helped me see things from a different perspective.
Gotcha. With all of the things you're speaking of, they all sound really great, and it sounds like you had a really good experience here at Daemen.
Yeah.
Even through some of the great experiences, we sometimes have some hurdles and some struggles. As you can think back to when you were graduating high school and coming to Daemen, what was the biggest transitional experience that you said, this was different or wasn't what you expected? What was some of those things, or any of those things?
Honestly, the hardest thing for me, I don't have sisters or anything, so I was super nervous living on campus and having to share a room, just because I had never had that experience before. But res life was really great, and the RAs and my suite mates were all really great about making me feel welcome and organizing everything so that we all could feel comfortable, because we were all nervous, and that's what it came down to. So we all just realized that we could all help each other through everything, and it worked out really well.
Good. With regards to you said your next steps was going on and looking at law. What advice would you give to, say if we have parents on here, so what advice would you give to a parent as they're helping their son or daughter, or helping them to pick out colleges or helping them to transition? What advice would you give a parent to help their son or daughter as they're looking for colleges?
To parents, I would definitely say let your students explore. Definitely, that's where I figured out a lot of what I wanted to do and learned the most, is when I was able to explore and reach out and try things that I hadn't experienced before. So definitely encourage your students to do those things.
And then, of course, we can't leave out the students. We have juniors there and seniors that they're cutting down to the wire. What advice do you give them as they're for seniors trying to finalize their college search and figure out where they're going to go, where to deposit as May 1st is coming up, and for the juniors that some of them may be starting out their process, starting with the seniors, what advice would you give those seniors and juniors?
Definitely ask as many questions as you can. Definitely get a good feel for everywhere that you're looking, and talk to students, talk to professors, talk to the admissions staff. I know here everybody's great about it, so we're always welcoming questions, so definitely ask questions. And
how many colleges did you apply to when you were,
when
you were looking?
Probably 5 to 10.
5 to 10, wow. Well, we're lucky that we have you here at Daemen College. And it can be a very daunting time for a lot of juniors and seniors, so 5 to 10 and narrowing it down. I mean, now students have, you have the private, public schools, you have in-state, out of state. So out of the 5 to 10 you came to Daemen, like I said, we appreciate that. With regards to you said you did the research, you did the study abroad, and what would you say was one of the biggest aha moments or the biggest feather in your cap of your experiences here at Daemen that you say, wow, I'm here because of these experiences? And it could be more than one, but what experience would you say are the key experiences that helped you to get to where you are now?
Definitely. I would say there's two main ones that stick out to me.
Okay.
The first one when I was in Italy. It was my first study abroad experience, and I had never been away from home other than to come to school, and even that was a huge step for me, being halfway across the world by myself. I remember standing in the middle of Italy, not speaking any Italian, and I had this road map where all the roads were crisscrossed, and I had no idea where I was going, and I had a moment of panic, and I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know what to do, this is terrible, and then I just kind of sat there and I said, Kimberly, relax, you're in Italy, this is gorgeous, and that was definitely one of the best learning experiences that I had. It helped me grow a lot, and even when I came back, I was able to incorporate that into a lot of different things on campus as well. The other moment I would say is with all the research, and we're writing our senior thesis right now, which goes over all of that research that we've completed, and writing that and actually seeing, wow, so this is actually what professionals are doing, this is how it's all coming together, and seeing how I'm actually able to do that. Coming in, it's hard to see the end picture, but I'm here right now, and it's amazing how it has all come together. So
you're still pinching yourself right now. I'm really gonna go. It's an exciting time. It is an exciting time. So I would like to say thank you for helping us out in the interview. I want to also let you know, as you're chatting with us and you're asking questions, you know, there's real life stories sitting right here. Kimberly is one of them. And so we don't always want to just tell you that all these things are happening. We want to bring to you a student that has come here, that has done well, and that has really taken hold of all her experiences to make sure that she's going to be successful as she moves forward. So as I talk about the different Damon experiences, and now you're hearing about them as well, you know, having faculty that will work with you doing study abroad, having faculty that work with you doing research, also working on a senior thesis, all these things are aligned and prepared for you, or helping you to prepare yourself to go on to the next step. So again, I want to thank you for coming with us for the interview. And if you have questions, continue to ask those questions, and we'll see you at the next segment. Hello, we are back, and we were having a good time without you, so we figured we'd invite you in to hear a little bit more about Daemen College and some of our student experiences. If you haven't seen the first 3 chats we've done, the live chats, we had a couple of interviews with others, by myself and one with another student, and now we are joined with Shamila. And I want to make sure that you just have an understanding of, again, the Daemen experience, not just from what you're told by the admissions counselors or myself, but hearing it live from students, unrehearsed, live, right for you. And so, as we get started, I want to introduce yourself to everyone that's chatting and looking at us, and tell them where you're from, your major, and why you selected to come to Daemen College.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Shamila Jeffers. I am from Brooklyn. I'm a history and political science major, and I decided to come to Daemen because I wanted to go away for school, because I didn't want to stay home. So before, when I came, I was an English major and I knew that I could do English anywhere. I chose Daemen because it was far enough away, but I was still in New York City, and it was a small school. I'm not a big fan of big universities. I got a chance to meet faculty before I came on campus because I was a part of the bus trip hosted by the admissions office every spring. Yeah, I got to see campus and I actually enjoyed it.
Good, good. Well, let's talk about that. I forgot you were a part of the bus trip. So that people that are listening or watching us, every spring we do a bus trip for students from the New York City area, and we have them come down, spend the night, do a weekend, and hopefully to assist them in making a college decision, and of course with the decision to be Daemen College. But during that time you were on campus, what was it that you experienced, or was it a faculty interaction? What was the experiences that said to you, yes, Daemen's going to be a good fit for me?
It was the students. When I came, I was with a sophomore at the time, and she was not in the freshman dorm, she was in the apartment, so I got to see how upperclassmen started to live. And when we went into the dining hall, I got to see the students be students. So I was able to ask them, how was it first semester? Or how is it like coming from New York City? Because there was a lot of students here from the New York City area, and we kind of just clicked up once we got here.
Good.
So I was just able to ask them any and every question that I wanted, and I like the answers that I received, and they were funny, and I don't know why I wouldn't come here.
Good, good, good. So now that you're on campus and you've been here and you got a chance to meet students, faculty, and staff, let's talk about your faculty interactions and faculty experience. How much access have you had to your faculty members since you've been here?
I have access to them, I want to say 24/7, because I'm the type of student, I like to pop in on people, and I'm able to do that with my advisor sometimes. I'm also able to do that with the VP of Student Affairs. I get to email my advisors and my professors, and they would contact me back within the day. I get to talk to the people in the Student Success Center, so academic coaches. I'm a social butterfly.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're able to maintain your social butterflyness and stay on campus. That's good. But you mentioned something I wanted to also ask you about. You mentioned going over to Student Success Center. Mm-hmm. Tell our viewers what the Student Success Center is and what were you using those services for?
For me, I use the Student Success Center because I wanted to change my major, but I didn't want to change my major at the same time. So I just went for guidance outside of my advisor because I know she would probably push me to stay within the department. So I went to the Student Success Center, and I just told them where I was at, what I wanted to be when in life, and they just offered me suggestions. The Student Success Center, they also give out academic coaches. So if you need help in a certain subject, then you can sign up for the course, and then a student that took the class in a previous semester or so, and they aced the class, they can be available to be a coach. Or you have professional writing coaches and math coaches in the math lab and stuff like that.
Okay, good. And you did that, and I was able to. Did they help you to select your major? Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm content.
Okay, good. And again, one of the things that we always talk about with students is you're 17, 18 years old, making a huge decision on where you want to go to college to spend the next 4, 5, or 6 years, depending on the program. And it is really important to make sure that you have further assistance. Not everyone that comes in with a particular major stays in that major for all the years while they're here. But there is an opportunity to change your major and still be successful, and sometimes not lose time doing it. Sometimes it will cost you a semester and credit hours, but the earlier you kind of find your niche, you can go and seek assistance and graduate on time. So you can definitely do that. So I'm glad you mentioned the Student Success Center.
No problem.
One of the things I always talk about, and I've mentioned in other sessions as well, was the ability to have internships or also doing service learning. And I understand that you've done 2 service learning experiences. Yeah. So if you tell them one, what service learning is, and then your experiences doing it.
Service learning is when you go out into the community, and it depends on the site location, but where I was, my site, I went after school, and there were students who needed help with homework. There were also students that did the activities in the gym. So you're pretty much like you're a mentor to them. You are there for about 2 hours every week, and you get to know the students because you're there every week. So they expect you to come, and when you do, it's often a fun time. And I actually look forward to going to service learning sometimes. Good. So, yeah.
So what would you say from your service learning experiences, what was your takeaway? What did you learn from that? What would you say to someone else that says, well, I have to do service learning? What would you say was your takeaway to that student that's looking to do service learning next semester?
Well, I did 2 forms of service learning. Okay. So the first service learning is when I actually went out into the community, and I was a tutor to the students. For that, I would say that it helped me because I want to be a teacher. So it just gave me some more field experience. But the other service learning that I did was I was a peer mentor. As a peer mentor, you help students, incoming freshmen, for the first semester. You help them with registration, navigating campus, helping them getting involved in activities. You help them reach out to their advisor if they don't know who they are or where they are. And I would just say that peer mentor and service learning, they're both a semester long, but either one that you do, you come out with skills that you didn't come in with. And I would just say go in with open mind, because you never know what happens. So I enjoyed it.
Good. Well, another thing we're going to talk about is campus life experience or residential experience. Many students that may be coming from out of state, as we have students all from all over the country logged on this evening, that they will be staying in the residence halls. So with those students that are staying in the residence halls, what type of experiences can you share with them that you've experienced as a resident in the residence halls that they can look forward to coming to Daemen College?
I loved Kahneman. Kahneman is the freshman dorm on campus. But the reason why I say that is because as an incoming freshman, you don't necessarily know everybody. And I was thankful that I came in with somebody from my high school. But other than that, all of the freshmen are in one building. So you get to see pretty much everybody. You get to make friends very quickly. You also have your RAs. And I've had some good experiences with my RAs in the past, because they've not only been there after midnight just to hear me talk about problems, but they are also there to give you advice on which classes you could probably take, because they may be in your major. They also, I don't want to say police the dorms, but they are there to help you, or they're there to give you the necessary information that you need to deal with confrontation if you do have one, which is probably unlikely because we're awesome.
All right, well, thank you. You are awesome.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. As you've come from your high school in New York City and coming to Daemen College, what would you say was the biggest adjustment or the biggest aha moment that you had to do? If it's socially, academic, what was your biggest adjustment coming from New York City to Amherst during your academics or your experiences here?
I have two aha moments.
Uh-huh.
My first one would have to be doing laundry on my own, and I missed the food that my mom cooked.
Oh.
So that's one aha moment, that I needed to learn how to cook. And the second one was coming from New York City, the city that never sleeps, to Amherst is a very big difference, because you sleep and it's very quiet up here. So that's probably the only difference that I have. But since we are in Amherst and downtown Buffalo's not that far, you can still get the city life downtown. But in Amherst, it's slow. Yeah. It's slow. I like it though. It's quiet.
We like to think it helps you with your studies. So that was was it another one? I'm sorry.
No, those are the two.
So when you're looking at the experience you have now, so far you've done your two service learning experiences, and you changed your major. How prepared do you feel that you are as you're going towards your upper division courses and different experiences? How prepared do you feel like you are to get ready for those upper division courses that you're taking?
Well, I'm already in upper division courses, okay. So I'm as prepared as I'll ever be.
Good.
I'm also doing my thesis, so everything or every course that I took before junior year in terms of the history and the political science department has helped me towards my thesis. All other courses that I took as electives also helped me because I got a new perspective on different classes instead of just staying within the history and political science department, which is why I actually like that Daemen makes you go out and explore other departments. Yeah. Was there a second part to the question?
No, that's good. Okay. And so one of the things I want you to touch on is a lot of times we can talk to juniors and seniors, talk to parents, and it's the admissions office. We're adults that have kind of gone through it. But what advice would you give the seniors and juniors that are seniors? The time is getting shorter and shorter to May 1st. They're making their decisions. But also the juniors that may be just starting out their process. What advice would you give them in working through their college search or things to look for?
Well, One thing that I do think is very helpful is if you visit the campus first before you decide to commit to a school, because during a campus visit, because since I was not only on the bus trip, I was also a part of College Summit. I was here on campus twice before I made my decision, and I realized that I liked how small it was. I liked the faculty and I liked the students. But aside from that, I think it's okay to not have, I guess, a major already pre-decided, because you probably will change your major. I know that's hard to hear, but it happens to most of us. And I think when it comes to your college search, you just need to find something that fits you. If you don't like universities or big schools, don't do it. If you prefer more interactions or one-on-one with your teachers, or you want not a big of a lecture hall, then you can go to a smaller school. I also think that you need to factor in cost when it comes to picking a school, because you will be there for 4 years if you so choose to. And all of those factors play a big part in where you decide to go. You also need to know if you want to leave the state or not. So those are my tips.
Good advice. And one of the things you touched on was changing your major, or maybe not coming in with a major. I will say that nationally, about 25% of students that are entering into college come in undeclared or without having a major. And I assure you that's totally fine to do. The reality of it is, I tell students all the time, you have at least the first 3 and sometimes 4 semesters to really be forced to make that decision. Because many of the classes you'll take, some schools call them gen ed requirements, we call them our core, so which is those classes that everyone's going to take no matter which major you're in. So you do have some exploration time to kind of figure out if I want psychology, if I want biology, if I want to do education.
History.
Or history, yes. You have that time to do that. So don't feel pressured. The one thing I will say as I mention those things, if you're looking at some of the science-based courses, that may not be as true. You may have to come in hitting the ground running with PT, PA, nursing, those programs. You may not have as much time. But for the most of the programs, 95% of them, you do have time to do that. So
also, that's what the Student Success Center is for. If you do come in undeclared, they help you declare a path, or they give you options to look forward to in different programs. They're kind of an advisor for you since you are undeclared, and they help you with that declaring the major process. So that's my tidbit.
I wanted to make sure that we talk also about your involvement on campus. A lot of times students come onto a college campus and you have one saying, I'm not sure what I want to do, and other students get involved in a lot of things, and having that balance. So can you share with us the organizations and things you're involved in, 1, and 2, how do you do the balance, their involvement in the organizations and academics?
Well, I'm the type of person, I've always been doing something since I can't even tell you how old. So when I came in freshman year, I was a part of anything that I could be a part of. And now as a junior, I'm still very active in Damon. So I'm currently the treasurer of the Student Association Executive Board. I'm also treasurer of Black Student Union and Synergy. And I'm also a peer mentor, or was, but I still am a peer mentor. I'm also a tour guide, and I'm a part of the History and Government Club.
Good.
Yes.
And now how do you balance all those and doing your academics and having a social life, or is part of those into your social life? How do you do that?
Well, balancing is not all that easy because you need to have time management skills. Time management skills are very important. I cannot stress that enough. But if you're really committed to your clubs or organizations, then you will find time to not only attend the events that you have to do or attend the weekly meetings, but you can also find time to do your work. Most of the times, the clubs that I'm already in, I already have friends that are in those clubs. So even outside of the clubs, I'm with my friends. and they will tell me, hey, you need work to do for BSU, or hey, you need to do your history homework. So it's kind of both. When it comes for me, I have both the social, the club, and the balancing all in one. So yeah.
So your friends help you stay grounded.
Oh yeah.
Good,
Good. They keep me sane.
Well, it's definitely good to have friends like that.
Yes, friends are awesome.
So, as we've been speaking, giving you real life experiences from our students here at Daemen College, we want to make sure, again, you ask all your questions and ask them myself, of the counselors you're chatting with. It is a really important decision. This is something that you'll have to, take time to do. So if you're a senior, I'm sure you already put the time in, so now it's kind of decision-making time. I hope that the information that Shamila and Kim, our other student we spoke with, and myself and the counselors, I hope they've given you enough information that you can say, yes, I made the right decision in attending Daemen College. And if you're a junior, the next step, as Shamila said, visit the campus. If you haven't already visited, visit the campus. She did an overnight. We can schedule an overnight for you. If you want to come and sit into a class, we can do that. Yeah. If you wanted to do sit into a class and an overnight, come on campus for dinner and really have experience a Daemen College experience, we can do that as well. Our job is to make sure that you can have all your questions answered, get your experiences in, to make sure that you're not rushing in to make a decision, but once you have those experiences, you have all the information you need to make the right decision. I said earlier, and I'll say again, my job or my desire is not just to enroll students in enrollment management coming to Daemen College, but we want to enroll you, we want to educate you, and then we want to make sure that you graduate. That's the end goal, graduation. And as I say that, we still have graduates in our chat. We do have growing graduate programs. So if you're looking at education, we do have education program. We have special education. We do have a master's for our PA program. Physician assistant is a master's program with direct entry. Our PT program is actually a doctorate in physical therapy and direct entry as well. Athletic training is a master's with direct entry. We also have added, which is now about 4 years, 3 years, social work. We have a master's in social work, master's in public health. We also have some really strong really strong partnership, with our pre-med with Lincoln Memorial, with guaranteed seats, and Lincoln Memorial pre-vet with Lincoln Memorial. With pre-med, we have guaranteed seats with Nova Southeastern in Florida. With our pre-farm, we have guaranteed seats in University of Buffalo, as well as Dewville. So we're doing a lot to say that if we don't have some of the programs students want or desire, we partner with schools that have those programs. And when you look at the medical school and the veterinarian school, those are very, very, very difficult to get into. I recently was speaking with a coworker regarding 2 students that she knows looking to get into medical school. Very bright students, one with a 4.0, still having a lot of hurdles getting into the medical schools. So if you're coming here to Daemen College and you've done well, a 3.0 will guarantee you an interview. But of course, we expect you to do a little bit better than that, but a 3.0 will guarantee you an interview. But if you do all the work that we have asked you to do for the program, there's a guaranteed seat waiting for you. Doesn't mean you have to go to those schools, but we have a seat waiting for you. So continue to look at our website for the programs that you're interested in. Continue to ask your questions, and we thank you. And Shamila, we thank you for being with us in this segment and talking to our students, chatting with us. So hopefully we've given you good information, and we see you soon at Daemen. Hello again. I hope that you have many of your questions answered. You've been chatting with the counselors, listening to some of the segments of the students. We've done our best to really bring you all the information that we can for this segment, but we will definitely want to stay in touch. I talked before about personal attention to you, and we will definitely give you that. But before we close out, I want to give you a couple of housekeeping things, or some dates as well. So the next 2 events we have are summer previews. Our summer previews will be here on Daemen's campus. If you're already on our mailing list, you'll be receiving emails about it, you'll be receiving phone calls about it, and those 2 dates are July 27th and August 11th. So save those dates, plan for them, mark on your calendar that you come for at least one of those dates. It'll be the same program. We'll give you 2 options again, July 27th and August 11th. After that, we have open houses. Open houses are going to be a little bit large of a program. The summer preview was just that, a preview. But during the fall, we have 2 open houses during the fall. And those 2 dates are going to both be in October, October 14th and October 28th. Those are the dates we want to have you on campus, talking to faculty, talking to students, taking a tour. We want to make sure that we give you options and we're making it convenient for your schedule. Again, as we have juniors on this, this chat, juniors, you have some time, but we wanted to definitely make sure that you get all your experiences in. So if you're a junior, definitely come to summer preview, come to open house. Let's schedule you for a tour. We want to make sure you get that information. And if you're a senior, time is ticking. We want to make sure that we talk to you ASAP. So we're definitely going to be in the office starting 8:30 tomorrow morning. If you have been excited about the videos, been excited about the information you've heard on chat, and been excited about the experience you've had prior to tonight, definitely give us a call. Let's talk about what we can do to make sure you do the next step. And if you're a senior, the next step really is easy. It's to deposit. After you deposit, that's going to trigger our housing office to make sure you get your housing information and our coordinator of orientation to get your orientation information. We want to make sure you have a smooth process talking to your counselors and getting you to orientation. This is the time to do it. This is an exciting time for us. May 1st is right around the corner, and your college experience is waiting for you now. Make your decision, make it Damon. We'll see you soon.